For more insight, let's bring in our legal expert panel now. Former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Robert Bianchi and political analyst and attorney Gail Trotter. Thanks to both of you for your time and for the expertise you're going to provide us, the free legal expertise you're providing us with this afternoon. Gail, I want to go to you first. Read the tea leaves for me when it comes to no new indictments. From a legal perspective, what does it really mean?
Right. Well, after 2 years of hysterics and hyperventilating, legal observers see that the Robert Mueller report is going to land with a big thud. And there's two directions that this can go in. It can either go back to the standards and legal norms that we have had up until this point about how these investigations should work.
When you say it lands with a thud, are you saying the report necessarily exonerates President Trump?
No, but the fact that our sources say that there are not going to be any indictments coming out of this, it shows that the predicate for the investigation, which was treasonous collusion by the Trump campaign with the Russians to rig the election, that there are no indictments. There have been no indictments issued on this. There have been no guilty pleas on Russian collusion, and now we know that it's very unlikely because of these DOJ sources that there are going to be any forthcoming indictments. So we could go back to
why even bother with the report?
Because under the law, the Attorney General has to report to Congress the high-level conclusions of why Robert Mueller and his team decided not to prosecute anyone or go further. The grand jury testimony needs to be kept private. That should not, under law, be shared with Congress or with the public. And we can go in the direction of going back to the legal norms where if someone is not prosecuted, then the federal government does not use the investigation to smear them.
Gail, you've sort of taken the same tack that the Republicans have, that this is the victory lap and the exoneration of this.
Not exoneration. No, well, I would not say that.
Okay. But it begs the question, Bob, that what is in the report, the narrative part of the report that could come out, has potential landmines for the administration in terms of what various people's desires were or intentions were, especially as it relates to the Trump Tower meeting with the Russian cutout. It also begs the question, there may not be any indictments by Mueller's team. We don't know about any referred investigations or other wrongdoing that was found by Mueller and then referred out to other parts of DOJ.
Leland, I just say ditto to what you said. That's very true. And let's go back to history a little bit about somebody named Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was investigated, and James Comey gave that ill-fated press conference, and everybody went apoplectic about that because they said technically it looked like she may have committed crimes. But what this is the DOJ just doesn't file charges on possibility, speculation. They want to make sure, especially with a high-level target, that they have proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So while it's a victory, that Trump Tower meeting on June 9/16 was always a problem for Jared Kushner, for Trump Jr., and for the president himself, as well as the corollary obstruction. But that report very well could say they either were wittingly or unwittingly involved in trying to undermine the election in an improper way. But just like the Clinton investigation, prosecutors use their discretion, like I used to all the time, to say it's probably a crime, it could be a crime, there's probable cause, but I don't know if I can prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt.
If we look at the nuts and bolts here, guys, the other important, I don't want us to miss this, the other important finding so far is that there were no conflicts between Mueller's team and Barr's team. Bob, tell us about that quickly.
Well, I think that there's some enheartening pieces about that there seems to be that this investigation was allowed to go unimpeded, the fact that Rosenstein was allowed to stay on it and Mueller was allowed to stay on it. But as Leland pointed out before, a lot of referrals and sealed indictments are out there right now because I think that Mueller, at least this is what I would have done, in order to protect my position, would have farmed as much out as I could so that this way, if I get removed from office, those sealed indictments are there, and those other investigations in other, like the Southern District of New York, are there as well. So we need to be careful about the idea that just because you're not indicted or you're not charged doesn't mean that that report's not going to say there was wrongdoing.
All right, we are out of time. We've got to leave it there. Gail Trotter, Bob Bianchi, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Great to be with you both.
Leland?